is the deck that I'm going to end up playing in the blind here, and you guys are going to see that in just a little bit. Things to remember about Affinity is it's a lot like the red deck wins matchup, where you got to conserve your life total. You also got to remember that you're not the beatdown in this situation. They are like a turn to 2 turns faster than you. So you've got to be the control in the situation. So you're going to use a lot of removal. You'll see me use a ton of removal. I got blown out game 2 by accident. Game 1 I had enough removal and enough aggression to get me by. And game 3 I just had the win clear out of the bay, as you guys will see. And you just pull out a lot of stuff out of your sideboard, throw it in there, and hope that you get at least 2 forms of removal, and hopefully one of them's artifact removal. You've got things like Ancient Grudge and Stony Silences, all really, really, really good against Affinity because it does double duty or more. Stony Silence can just blow them out. Your burn, you're going to try to keep as much burn in as you can, not for the face, for their creatures, because their deck works by having a ton of weenies that like power each other up. So the more you can limit their vomiting their hand, the better. You want to make sure that you're not aggressive, too aggressive. You want to make sure that you are only switch on the aggressive when you like absolutely need to, and there's just you're gonna win with that aggression. It's definitely a trick that you've got to pick up, is when you turn from the control to the beatdown in this matchup. Other than that, things to think about are, you know, they're gonna try to vomit out their hand turn 1, and that's like when it's most dangerous. So you're gonna see most of their most of what they play turn 1. And then you're going to want to hold out and see what they've got left. You don't necessarily want to give them extra lands very easily with Path to Exile, just because their higher end game includes things like Rampager, Arcbound Ravager, Etched Champions, and whatever that lord is. I can't remember what it's called. The lord that pumps up all artifact creatures and is pumped by artifacts. I can't remember his name. Whatever. Sorry. But those are all like 3-drops and a 2-drop that eats other things. So those are his end game philosophy. And they can blow you out. Like you'll see in game 2, he ends up landing some Etched Champions, and I just can't attack through it. So that's what you want to watch out for. But on your end, you are a zoo deck that has that's just very stable. Everything you top deck is relevant. You're never like getting bad openers, except for like lands can affect you. On the other hand, these guys on Affinity have a lot of high variance in their deck. Their openings are never the same. Basically, they get a hand and they open it, and that tells them what they're gonna do. They never open it. They never go, I want this kind of a hand, and open it, and then go, oh yeah, this is the hand that I want. Or I need to mull this because this isn't the hand that I want. Literally, they open and they look at their first 7, their first 6, and they go, this is my game plan. I have to do whatever these cards say. Because there are a lot of random good cards. They're not necessarily... they work well together, but they're very vastly different. Some are mana ramps, some are like weenies, some want to go to the long game so that you can land an Etched Champion and win off of that. Some you want to like put on your like your man lands to fly. It's just the amount of like different attacks that they have to go depending on what's in their hand is huge. But because of that, and also the fact that not only are they weenies and they're smaller than your creatures, meaning that like Pyroclasm and any sort of Wrath spell will take them out. Naturalize, Creep and Corrosion, Shatterstorm. The list goes on and on about all these things, and all of these cards can just blow them out. Anything that kills artifacts or really hampers artifacts blows them out. And that means they are much weaker to hate than we are. Yes, you can put a bunch of walls in front of us. Yes, you can put a bunch of like removal spells in front of us, but we fold less easily because our creatures have higher value on their own than their creatures do. So you can hate them out pretty easily in your sideboard. Alright, so I lost the roll. And I mulliganed once. Now I have enough action in my hand to keep going forward, and white is not super present that it's going to stop me. He's mulling a lot, so that's good for me, and I'm on the draw, so I've got the chance to draw something else. 2 Ornithopters, 3 Ornithopters, and Volt Scourge. So if I bolt the Volt Scourge, he's got nothing, and he's relying on top decks here. I think I'm going to let that Volt Scourge live 1 turn, so that way I can get out my Experiment 1, and then next turn I can get out like a Wild Noctowl and bolt it. So yeah, I'm going to crack this so that way I can still have my mana. So this is Affinity. Affinity is a little, kind of a weird matchup. Either you really win or you really lose, or, like, there's a lot of high variance in that matchup. The fact of the matter is, that, the matchup, he either, like, gets, like, a nuts draw, or he, like, screws himself like this. It's just something that Affinity does. That's one of the reasons why I play Zoo and I don't play Affinity, although Affinity is very, very tacky. See, I'm going to play Wild Noctowl here, because I can still evolve it off the create next turn. And I'm going to pass the turn here. Wild Noctowl is still a 3/3. I'm going to let him animate his Inkmoth and attack with it, or put out something to attack with. And it's no big deal. I'm going to bolt that. Stop him from gaining life. He'll only deal 1 damage to me. No big deal. And I think I should press my lead here now and just go aggressive, since he's going to have to start blocking with his artifacts, and that's good for me. Plus, it lets me keep my mana open. So I think I'm going to. I could get blown out by a Cranial Plating, but the problem with that is I have a Path to Exile in my hand, so I don't think I can get blown out by a Cranial Plating that badly. Because it at least buys me a turn. Springleaf Drum is a bad draw for him, so he's not going to win next turn. I think that's probably a good game unless he blocks. Yeah. I mean, he's got enough to block next turn, but then I've got Path to Exile for... I'm gonna hold it. I'm not gonna do it for Blinkmoth Nexus. 1 damage is not that pressing to me. Yeah, and that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So let's see here. What do we want to take out against this version of the deck? I'm gonna put Volcanic Fallout in. Destructive Revelry. Ancient Grudge. Pillar Flames. Anything that's removal I want to put in. And I want to take out Boros Charms. And I probably want to take out anything top heavy, because I need to live that long. So probably Gore Clan Rampagers as well. Yeah, that seems like what I want to do. Oh, Stony Silences too. Derp. So I'll take another Rampager out and another Knight. Now you see, I sided in a ton of hate for this guy. A lot of removal spells. And either I get like 2 of those removal spells and I'm going to win, or I don't and I lose. Here's is definitely a keepable hand. We've got access to all of our colors. We've got access to Lightning Bolt as well as a Pillar of Flame, and a creature that I can attack with. So that's what it is. I'm going to be like an aggro control deck here, where I'm going to basically put out 1 creature and then keep it going. If he puts out anything that's like, I need to kill it right away, like a Rampage, or yeah, like a Ravager or something, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop it right away. Memnite. 2 mana. Do what? Cranial Plating. Mox Opal into play. Kills it for the Volt Scourge. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to just leave the Lightning Bolt open. I'm not even going to play my creature. Because that means that I've got my Lightning Bolt open. And then I've also got, if he attaches it to anything at the end of his turn, like attaches it to the Memnite, I can then play like a Curd Ape and then Pillar of Flames it. So the best thing you can do, since I totally showed that I've got the Bolt mana open here, I guess I could have done that and showed that I didn't have the Bolt mana, but I'd rather crack this for like a basic or something if I can. He's just going for it, sure. I'm gonna wait till he attacks anyways. I guess he's, because he knows I'm Zoo, he's got to go for it, because he, like, wants to keep it going. And this is where we're gonna take our advantage here. I'm gonna go ahead and crack this for greed, so that way I can get out my I think my Curd Ape is what I want to get out. I'll do more damage over time. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit the Pillar of Flame on the Memnite while I still can. He's gonna Galvanic Blast my creature, that's fine. I don't think it really mattered. He still had 3, like, artifacts. He could have done that. The reason, yeah, why I didn't Goblin Guy is because I don't want to. Like, if he shows me more land, then I'll start doing it. But he's got nothing to attack with right now, which is gross for him. I got a Path to Exile, which was awesome for me. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting out my white mana, tapping this for a Tarmogoyf, who's going to be huge now. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4, 5 right now. Actually, it's a 5, 6. Tarmogoyf is awesome in this matchup. Yeah, because he's got one in his thing, artifact. So I don't know what he's got in his hand, but we'll see if it's worth it. Etched Champion is good. I mean, it blocks all day. Volcanic Fallout is cool if he puts out anything else that's worth Volcanic Fallouting. Swinging my Tarmogoyf would be stupid because then it allows him to just... I mean, he's just going to hit me regardless with that thing. But what I'm going to end up doing is probably... Nether Reliquary will get me... what? Nothing in my lands that really matter. And it will only be a 3/3, which is 1 bigger than Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide hits right now, except he can block with his Etched Champion and kill that. So the best thing I can do is put out a Knight of the Reliquary here. And just race him at this point. Because even if he attaches it, he's only hitting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can easily outrace that. Because I'll be hitting for 8. Oh, he's trying to out-poison me? That's totally fine, then. Because I can just blow it out with a Path to Exile next turn. Or even a Volcanic Fallout next turn. Volcanic Fallout would be especially spicy, because it would just knock the, it would just knock both, Inkmoth Nexuses out of play. Which would be huge. So yeah, he's trying to go for that poison route. It's not gonna work out for him though. In fact, it actually bought me a turn. So I got removal on removals. Hopefully he does the same thing that he did last time by animating Inkmoth Nexus. Both Inkmoth Nexuses. In which case I blow him out. Hopefully, he's going to play a creature too, which would be awesome. So I just blew him out by taking out both of his lands here. And making him lose life as well. And bringing him basically down to my life. And that's going to be that. I don't think he can win the game now. Especially because that drops his Etched Champion with Cranial Plating down to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ain't big at all, and he lost all of his lands. Sculling Tarn's cool here. We crack it and just come to play tapped land, probably. So that way it brings up my my United Reliquary. I think I don't want to sacrifice the tempo, and I'm just gonna attack. I guess we play the Goblin God as well. And attack, and if he decides to kill my Goblin God, that's fine, but I get an extra damage. I'm definitely letting him have more mana, but at this point, I don't think it really matters. Another Etched Champion, that's some bad business. That's some bad business. So we're gonna hit for 6 here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. And he can't play that Etched Champion, because he doesn't have the lands. So I don't think there's anything he can do here. He can attach a Cranial Plating to the Etched Champion to try to kill some of my creatures, and I think that's the best play he's got. But what I do there is pretty simple. I think my choice is I can still attack, and I'm going to hit for at least another 6 damage and bring him down to 1. So we'll see if I draw a creature that can... Yeah, now that I draw a creature, it's fine. Yes, that's fine. Galvanic Blast, I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. So he gets his Blink Moth. We hit for 2. I guess we're just depending on burn now, which kind of blows. Since he can cast a, but it's a bit of a waiting game. Since he can cast a, an Etched Champion next turn, he still can't get me on the kill yet. And I can blow his, if he puts his, what do you call it out there? His Blink Moth Nexus and animates it, I can kill it. I mean, you can also attack with the Etched Champion, which is a fine play too, I think. Really what I need to draw is like a Destructive Reveler or an Ancient Grudge. If I drew an Ancient Grudge here, it would be fantastic. But I don't. And that blows. I didn't see that at Galvanic Blast. It really took me by surprise. Might have been able to win this game if I didn't hit that Galvanic Blast. I need to kill artifact things, especially to deal with this etch, or this cranial plating right now. It's saying he animates with the Blink Moth Nexus to get in some extra damage here. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus his 2, so it's 7. If he animates it, that's 8. Ugh, another cranial plating. Gross. Yeah, that's it. That just blew us out of the water. Those Etched Champions, man, they can do it sometimes. Now we'll be going first, which is great for us, and getting a turn 2 Stony Science is huge. That ruins his day. It ruins it. Oh my god, it's great. Yeah, we're keeping this. We've got three bolts, or 2 bolts, and no, we got 3 bolts. Yeah, keep. Yeah, fucking keep. Yeah, no, this is a hand I can't see myself losing now. There's just no possible way in my head for me to lose here. Granted, I've only got 1 creature. It really doesn't matter when I'm basically turning off everything they own next turn. Stony Silence turns off his Stony Silence even turns off his lands, his artifact lands. The Dark Steel Citadel, because it says activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. That includes Mox Opal. Hopefully, it puts out Dark Steel Citadel. Didn't, but whatever. You can't activate his Mox Opal yet. Let's see what he's got here. Streamleaf Drum, which I'm going to turn off all of them. So basically, he's down to 1 mana. These 2 cards are useless in his hand now. But not only that, I've got Lightning Helix, Lightning Bolt to really just finish him off. And not finish him off, I mean, like, if he plays any creatures, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to kill them. I mean, he can't even attach, like, his best card, which is Cranial Plating. He can't even attach it to his creatures. So he's got 2 mana, and he can attack for poison, but I still have a way to kill it with Lightning Bolts and Lightning Helixes next turn. And this card's just going to go to town. No questions asked, really. And they've got just high variance with the Affinity deck. It's just like, sometimes it's awesome, sometimes it's bad. One of the pros of being Zoo over Affinity is that they've, I think, yeah, I might have just killed him with this Stony Silence. He's probably thinking if he can win, and I don't think he can. Yeah, one of the plus sides of being in Zoo, while it still sucks to go against like walls and ramp and like what do you call it? And also like just tons of removal spells and Anger of the Gods. Actually worser for Affinity because they stink against all that stuff. Really? Yeah, they stink against all that stuff, and not only that, but then Artifact Kill just kills them, and there's just a lot of ways. I'm gonna ask him to show his hand, just because I wanna talk about this matchup. It's pretty shitty that, like, yeah, look at that, it's just, everything is got abilities. He can't activate his Steel Overseer, he can't activate his Arcbound Ravager, it just stays as a 2-mana 1/1. Cranial Plating doesn't get activated. Blinkmock Nexus can be activated. So he's got an army of 1/1s, but that's about it. That's all he can do. So yeah, Stony Science just blows his matchup out of the water, turns out. So that was the Affinity matchup. It's actually a pretty easy matchup once you get the handle on how to be sort of more the removal control deck, and then when you need to switch and turn yourself into a beatdown deck, once you get the handle on that, it becomes an easier game. They still can randomly win just because they've got powerful top decks, and that's just how Magic rolls. But you can do your best by sideboarding against it. I'd say that this matchup is probably a maybe 65-35 in our favor. Depending on what your sideboard is, it can go up dramatically. That sideboard that I had, as you can see, made my win even easier afterwards. So it could be, depending on what your main board and what your sideboard is, anywhere from 60-40 in your favor. It's still a little bit more in your favor because you've got burn, so you've got main deck removal regardless. But the more removal you have, the more sideboard options you have, the better it gets for you, and it can go upwards to like 80-20, depending if your sideboard is really out there to hate on artifacts and enchantments. Or just in general removal. Something to quickly go over, I just pulled up this list for you guys. Let's see here if I'll... Okay, so just to go over this list with you guys, I made a short list of common cards you might have in your sideboard that hates on Affinity. First one up is Kataki War Mage. He says that at the beginning of upkeep, all the artifacts need to pay 1 or they die, basically. And he's also a bear, so he can attack himself. That's really great. And it will force them to like sort of lose all their hand, or pay all their mana to keep their 1/1s alive, and that's not really great for them either. Stony Science, as you guys saw in that last match, can blow it out because it basically says that a lot of their artifacts, which are basically all activated abilities, at least half their deck is activated abilities of artifacts, can't be used, and it also even nerfs some of their lands. Makes their lands not really able to be doing very much either. I'm just specifically saying the Darksteel Citadel at that point. Ancient Grudge, again, pulls double duty. It can flash back and kill things. So killing 2 artifacts is really important, especially when it's dead done, not just like burn, which can sometimes fail on you. Deglamour is commonly in your sideboard if you're expecting more Tron, but it still does some work against Affinity. So the fact that it does destroy an artifact. Destructive Revelry is more common nowadays because it deals damage and you can continue to be aggro. But it'll hit artifacts, so it's worth looking at. Volcanic Fallout and Pyroclasm are all in the same boat. They they sweep the board, and we use them as Zoo against a lot of aggro decks. And you guys saw me use Fallout once, and it almost won me the game. Wear and Tear is another one that we use. It's much more prevalent in bigger Zoo, but it allows you to still kill an artifact for 2 mana, and that's basically a Shatter. With the upside that Tear can kill an enchantment for 1 mana, and they can do both. Ooh. Not that it very much matters. I think the only time that matters is against Twin. We got Creeping Corrosion and Shatterstorm. Basically the same thing, except Shatterstorm doesn't let them regen. Creeping Corrosion does let them regen. It's basically the only difference, other than one's green and one's red. But it wiped their field. This is again bigger in bigger zoos, but it wipes their field almost completely. Shattering Spree is another good one. It's really good, especially against Affinity. If you've got, like, I'd say 3 Affinities in your FNM meta, then it's worth putting Shattering Spree in there. And it lets you just destroy their field with 1 mana, and you can pick and choose what you want. So it's basically build your own Shatterstorm. And that's it. So that's the Affinity matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed. And good luck against Affinity.